What happens when Hollywood spends a fortune on movies audiences never requested? Late 2026 is packed with sequels nobody expected, reboots carrying damaged names, and enormous productions fighting over the same screens. Some could become surprise successes, but others already look trapped by impossible budgets, weak awareness, or franchise exhaustion. This is not a final verdict. It is a countdown of the warning signs Hollywood hopes audiences will ignore. Before the countdown begins, like the video, share it with another movie fan, and subscribe to the channel. Number 21. Super Troopers 3. The Broken Lizard comedy team is returning with another collection of highway patrol jokes, elaborate pranks, strange disguises, and arguments that become more ridiculous with every minute. Super Troopers 3 arrives on August 7th, bringing the original Vermont officers back for another adventure built around the same characters who first appeared 25 years ago. Its marketing has leaned heavily into nostalgia, including a promotional popcorn container shaped like a mustached state trooper and a drink cup referencing the original film's famous restaurant joke. That is also the problem. The original Super Troopers became popular because audiences discovered it gradually. It was inexpensive, unpredictable, and perfectly designed for repeated home viewing. The second movie arrived 17 years later and depended almost entirely on people remembering the old jokes. A third chapter must now convince casual viewers that this world still deserves a theatrical ticket. The signature sequence will probably involve the officers turning a simple traffic stop into complete confusion. That formula can still produce funny moments, but theatrical comedy has become difficult unless the premise feels like an event. Super Troopers 3 may perform well with longtime supporters, especially if the budget remained controlled. However, releasing an extremely specific cult comedy into a crowded August market limits its ceiling. Merchandise based on old quotations may excite existing fans, but it does not prove that younger moviegoers care about the characters. The film is not facing an enormous financial disaster. Its danger is quieter, opening to a loyal but very small audience before disappearing quickly. Number 20. Practical Magic 2. Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman are returning as Sally and Gillian Owens, 28 years after the original Practical Magic. The sequel follows the Owens family as a younger generation begins uncovering the history of its magical abilities. Sally's daughter develops powers of her own, forcing the family to confront the source of the curse that has followed the Owens women for generations. The film is scheduled for September 11th, with members of the original cast returning alongside younger performers. The scene audiences will be waiting for is obvious. The original movie's Midnight Margarita sequence became one of its most beloved moments, with the women dancing, drinking, and briefly escaping their problems. The sequel will almost certainly attempt to create another warm, musical family gathering. But nostalgia can become a trap. Practical Magic was not initially treated as a major theatrical triumph. Its reputation grew through television broadcasts, home video, and seasonal rewatches. That does not automatically mean millions of fans will purchase cinema tickets for a continuation almost 3 decades later. The returning stars are powerful attractions, but the sequel must balance several audiences. Older viewers want the atmosphere of the original. Younger viewers need a story that works without emotional memories of 1998. Meanwhile, the movie is opening during a period filled with horror, fantasy, and supernatural competition. The project could succeed if it remains an emotional family drama with controlled costs. The danger appears when a cult favorite is mistaken for a blockbuster franchise. Online affection is easy to measure through comments and nostalgic clips. Converting that affection into a large opening weekend is far more difficult. Number 19. Cliffhanger. The new Cliffhanger is not a continuation led by Sylvester Stallone. It is a reimagining starring Lily James as Naomi Cooper and Pierce Brosnan as her father Ray, an experienced mountain guide who operates a luxury chalet in the Dolomites. When kidnappers attack a climbing group and capture members of her family, Naomi escapes into the mountains and must return to rescue them. The movie is directed by Jaume Collet-Serra and scheduled for August 28th. The signature sequence should be Naomi hanging from a frozen cliff, while attackers search the mountain above her. Lily James reportedly completed extensive climbing preparation, giving the production an opportunity to sell real locations and physical danger rather than endless digital backgrounds. Unfortunately, the movie's problems exist outside the screen. Its planned distributor, Roque, faced reported financial difficulties, and the release strategy required additional negotiations. For a wide action film, distribution uncertainty can damage advertising, theater bookings, and audience awareness before opening weekend. The Cliffhanger title is also recognizable without being an unstoppable franchise. The original succeeded during Stallone's peak era and earned approximately $255 million worldwide. but the brand has remained mostly inactive since 1993. Many younger viewers have no attachment to it. Lily James and Pierce Brosnan are respected stars, yet neither automatically guarantees a large action opening. The film must also compete directly with Coyote vs. Acme and Ridley Scott's The Dog Stars. Cliffhanger could become an effective survival thriller, especially if the climbing photography is exceptional. Commercially, however, it is carrying an old title, a changed creative direction, and a fragile distribution situation into one of the most crowded weekends of late summer. Number 18. Resident Evil. Resident Evil is being rebooted again, this time by Zach Kreger, the filmmaker behind Barbarian. The new story follows a courier assigned to deliver a package to a remote hospital. His journey takes him into Raccoon City during a rapidly expanding outbreak connected to familiar elements such as the Umbrella Corporation and the local police department. Austin Abrams leads the cast, and the film opens on September 18th. The trailer's signature sequence shows the courier entering a hospital that appears abandoned, only for alarms, locked doors, and infected residents to transform the delivery into a fight for survival. Kreger is the movie's greatest advantage. He understands tension and can make audiences uncomfortable without relying entirely on franchise references. The danger is the Resident Evil name itself. The Milla Jovovich series earned substantial international revenue, but moved far away from the games. Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City attempted greater loyalty in 2021 and failed to create a lasting new film series. Audiences have already watched several versions of the same brand promise a more authentic beginning. The new film also uses an original protagonist instead of centering immediately on popular game characters. That may create freedom for the director, but fans could question why another adaptation is avoiding the heroes they paid to see. Horror budgets can be controlled, which gives Resident Evil a better chance than many entries here. Yet Sony needs viewers to understand that this is neither a continuation nor another retelling of the Mansion storyline. If the marketing cannot communicate what makes this reboot different, the familiar title may remind audiences of disappointment instead of creating excitement. Number 17. Street Fighter. Street Fighter returns to live action with a huge collection of recognizable game characters. Andrew Koji plays Ryu, Noah Centineo appears as Ken, and Kalina Liang portrays Chun-Li. The supporting lineup includes Jason Momoa as Blanca, David Dastmalchian as N. Bison, Roman Reigns as Akuma, 50 Cent as Balrog, and Cody Rhodes as Guile. Set in 1993, the story reunites Ryu and Ken when Chun-Li recruits them for the World Warrior Tournament and uncovers a hidden conspiracy. It opens on October 16th. The scene everyone expects is the tournament entrance, with fighters from different countries gathering before the movie begins, matching them against one another. Visually, the costumes and exaggerated characters could separate Street Fighter from generic action films. The risk is tone. The games are colorful, ridiculous, and sincere at the same time. Make the film too serious, and it loses the franchise's personality. Push the comedy too far and the fights stop carrying any weight. Hollywood has also attempted Street Fighter twice before. The 1994 film became a nostalgic curiosity, while The Legend of Chun-Li earned only about $12.8 million worldwide against a reported $50 million budget. The enormous cast introduces another problem. Giving meaningful screen time to Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Blanca, Guile, Akuma, Dhalsim, Vega, Zangief, and many others could make the story feel like a sequence of introductions rather than one complete adventure. Video game adaptations are performing better than they once did, but Street Fighter must convince audiences that a fighting tournament can offer more than costumes and short clips. One weak trailer joke could send the entire project back to the franchise's troubled cinematic past. Number 16. The Cat in the Hat. Warner Bros. Is attempting to rebuild Dr. Seuss as an animated movie universe. Bill Hader voices the cat, who works for an organization dedicated to imagination, and is assigned to help two children struggling with a major change in their lives. The voice cast includes Xochitl Gomez, Quinta Brunson, Matt Berry, America Ferrera, Giancarlo Esposito, and Bowen Yang. The film opens on November 6 and is intended to lead toward additional Seuss adaptations. The main trailer sequence shows the cat arriving with his enormous striped hat and transforming an ordinary home into a colorful playground that becomes increasingly impossible to control. The character is famous, but the movie must overcome the memory of the 2003 live-action adaptation. That version became known for uncomfortable humor and an exaggerated design that divided audiences. Animation should fit the source material better, yet the studio is not merely selling one movie. It is trying to establish a Seussiverse, placing additional pressure on the opening. The release date is another concern. Cat in the Hat arrives beside Ramayana, and Godzilla Minus Zero, followed 2 weeks later by The Hunger Games, and then Disney's Hexed during Thanksgiving. Family attention will be divided across several major choices. Bill Hader is an inspired voice selection, but children do not necessarily purchase tickets because of voice actors. Parents must believe the movie offers something more valuable than the many Seuss adaptations already available at home. This could become a colorful holiday success. However, launching an entire universe from a character whose previous theatrical appearance damaged the brand is a dangerous assumption. If families are merely curious, rather than excited, the cat's new cinematic world may close before its doors fully open. Number 15. Focker-in-Law. 16 years after Little Fockers, Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro return as Greg Focker and Jack Burns. This time, Greg's adult son Henry, played by Skylar Gisondo, plans to marry Olivia Jones, a former FBI hostage negotiator, played by Ariana Grande. Greg becomes the nervous father, while Jack once again uses surveillance, interrogation, and a lie detector to determine whether a potential family member can be trusted. The movie opens on November 25. The trailer's central comedy scene places Grande's character in Jack's lie detector chair, while Greg desperately attempts to keep the meeting under control. The premise intelligently reverses the original. Greg has become the worried parent, and Jack can observe him repeating the same mistakes. Yet the franchise is returning after a very long absence, and its most recent installment was widely viewed as weaker than the first two. Meet the Parents worked because the awkward situations felt painfully believable. Each sequel expanded the cast and pushed the jokes toward larger, less natural misunderstandings. Focker-in-Law risks becoming another collection of references, surprise appearances, and recycled family conflicts. Ariana Grande brings younger attention after Wicked, but her fans may not feel connected to a comedy series that began in 2000. Older fans may enjoy seeing De Niro and Stiller together while still preferring to wait for home viewing. The Thanksgiving date provides access to families looking for comedy, but Hexed opens the same day, and The Hunger Games will already control many screens. Focker-in-Law does not require enormous visual effects, which may limit its financial exposure. Its larger problem is proving that a joke built around an intimidating father-in-law can still feel fresh after 26 years. Number 14. Hexed. Hexed is Disney Animation's original Thanksgiving release. Haley Steinfeld voices Billy Doe, an impulsive teenager who discovers magical abilities after a strange incident at school. Her powers transport her into Hex, a secret world filled with spellbooks, unusual teachers, and hidden information about her family. Rashida Jones voices Billy's mother, while Stephen Fry plays a living spellbook named Elias Quire. The film opens on November 25th. The trailer's signature moment occurs in a school bathroom, where Billy's emotions cause the room to twist and objects to float before a portal pulls her into the magical world. Hexed has the visual ingredients of a successful Disney adventure. The difficulty is that audiences have become less dependable for original animated films. Parents recognize Frozen, Moana, and Toy Story immediately. A completely new character requires expensive marketing simply to explain who she is. The story also sounds familiar. An awkward teenager learns that the qualities making her different are actually special, enters a hidden magical society, and uncovers family secrets. Those themes can be meaningful, but they have appeared in numerous animated movies and streaming series. Its Thanksgiving date offers strong holiday attendance, yet Focker-in-Law opens simultaneously, The Hunger Games arrives 5 days earlier, and The Cat in the Hat will still be playing. Disney must persuade families that Hexed is the season's essential animation, rather than another magical coming-of-age story. The film may benefit from music, humor, and positive reviews. Still, original Disney animation now faces an uncomfortable reality. Even a good movie can struggle until streaming turns it into a delayed success. Hexed needs audiences to discover its magic before the theatrical window closes, not several months afterward. Number 13. The Angry Birds Movie 3. The Angry Birds are returning 7 years after their second theatrical adventure. Jason Sudeikis again voices Red, Josh Gad returns as Chuck, and Danny McBride plays Bomb. The new story presents Red as a father attempting to protect his children, while once again helping save the world. The expanded cast includes Emma Myers, Keke Palmer, Lily James, Walker Scobell, and several internet personalities. It opens on December 23rd. The trailer's main joke shows Chuck and Bomb trying to babysit Red's youngest child. The baby drinks an entire bottle of soda, gains uncontrollable energy, and turns the house into complete chaos. The first Angry Birds movie benefited from the mobile game's enormous popularity. By the time the second arrived, the cultural excitement surrounding the game had already cooled. The sequel earned stronger reviews, but produced lower worldwide revenue. A third chapter must now revive a film series based on a mobile phenomenon that peaked more than a decade ago. Adding online personalities may attract temporary attention, but it can also make the casting feel like a marketing list rather than a story decision. The December 23 date is extremely dangerous. Avengers, Doomsday and Dune, Part 3, open 5 days earlier, while Jumanji, Open World, arrives on Christmas Day. Premium screens will be controlled by much larger spectacles, and families will have several options. Animation can perform strongly throughout the holiday period, but Angry Birds 3 needs children to care about characters their older siblings played on phones years ago. Fatherhood gives Red a new emotional problem, yet the basic comedy still involves birds crashing, shouting, and destroying structures. Nostalgia may bring parents. The question is whether their children requested the trip. Number 12, Clayface. Clayface is one of DC Studios' strangest experiments. Tom Rhys-Harris plays Matt Hagen, an ambitious actor whose face is badly damaged. Desperate to restore his appearance, he accepts treatment from scientist Caitlin Bates, played by Naomi Ackie. The experiment transforms his body into unstable clay, allowing him to change shape while gradually losing control of his identity. Directed by James Watkins from a story developed by Mike Flanagan, the film reportedly cost around $40 million and opens on October 23rd. The trailer's defining image shows Hagen examining his repaired face before the skin begins stretching, melting, and reshaping itself in the mirror. A $40 million budget gives Clayface a reasonable path to profitability. The danger is audience confusion. This is technically a DC Universe movie, but it is being marketed as body horror rather than a traditional superhero adventure. Batman is not the central character, and many casual viewers have never heard of Clayface. The project also arrives after mixed box office results for DC releases. Asking the public to immediately support a movie about a lesser-known villain may test how much trust the new universe has actually earned. Its October date is smart because the unsettling transformations fit the Halloween season. However, horror fans may resist the comic book connection, while superhero viewers may be uncomfortable with a disturbing, intimate monster story. Number 11. Wildwood. Wildwood is Laika's largest stop-motion production yet. Based on the novel by Colin Meloy and Carson Ellis, it follows Prue McKeel as she enters a magical forest outside Portland to rescue her baby brother from a group of crows. Inside the wilderness, Prue and her friend Curtis discover talking animals, competing armies, and a hidden society facing a major conflict. The production reportedly created 136 sets, more than 230 puppets, and an eagle containing approximately 9,000 handmade feathers. It opens on October 23. The signature scene will likely be Prue's first view of the hidden forest, when ordinary trees open into an enormous kingdom filled with animals, soldiers, and flying creatures. Every frame may be beautiful, but beauty has not always protected Laika at the box office. Stop-motion animation requires years of careful work, yet audiences often treat it as a niche style. Coraline remains the company's most recognizable film, while later projects struggled to match its theatrical reach. Wildwood is also based on a book that does not carry the universal recognition of major Disney or DreamWorks properties. The studio must explain an entire fantasy world while convincing families that handcrafted animation deserves a premium ticket. Its October release places it beside Clayface, although the audiences are different. The larger danger comes from The Cat in the Hat only 2 weeks later, and Hexed arriving during Thanksgiving. Families may save their money for characters they already recognize. Number 10. Heart of the Beast. Brad Pitt plays James Belmont, a retired Special Forces veteran stranded in the Alaskan wilderness after his small aircraft crashes. His only companion is Odin, the military dog that served beside him. Together, they cross frozen terrain, face dangerous wildlife, and depend on years of shared training to find a route back to civilization. David Ayer directs the September 25th survival drama, which also features J.K. Simmons and Anna Lambie. The movie's most marketable scene is the crash itself. James loses control of the aircraft, the machine strikes the wilderness, and Odin remains beside him as he awakens in the wreckage. That combination of Brad Pitt, a loyal dog, and beautiful landscapes sounds commercially powerful. The concern is scale. Most of the movie appears to involve one man and one animal traveling through remote locations. That can produce an emotional survival drama, but it may not feel urgent enough for viewers trained to wait for serious adult films to reach streaming. The marketing also revealed that Odin survives. That reassurance may help dog lovers attend without anxiety, but it removes one of the story's largest emotional questions before audiences enter the theater. Pitt's F1 proved that he can still headline a major event when the concept offers speed, spectacle, and broad international appeal. Heart of the Beast is smaller, colder, and more personal. Its success depends on whether viewers see it as a cinematic wilderness experience or an expensive version of a story they can watch comfortably at home. Number 9. Whalefall. Whalefall may have the most unforgettable premise on this countdown. Austin Abrams plays Jay Gardner, a diver searching the California coast for his late father's remains. During the dive, he encounters a giant squid and is swallowed by an enormous sperm whale. Trapped inside the animal with approximately 1 hour of oxygen, Jay must remember the survival lessons taught by his father, played by Josh Brolin. The movie opens on October 16th through 20th Century Studios. Its signature scene is already clear. The trailer follows Jay beneath the water as a squid wraps around his equipment. A whale charges through the darkness, opens its mouth and pulls both of them inside. That moment is frightening, unusual, and easy to advertise. The challenge is everything that follows. A substantial portion of the film apparently takes place inside one whale. Creating 2 hours of visually varied entertainment within that environment requires expensive effects and exceptional storytelling. A reported California production plan involved nearly $49 million in qualifying spending before certain major costs, suggesting Number 8. The Social Reckoning. Aaron Sorkin returns to the world of Facebook with The Social Reckoning, a companion piece to The Social Network. Instead of repeating the company's creation, the new film examines its later controversies. Mikey Madison plays whistleblower Francis Haugen, while Jeremy Allen White portrays Wall Street Journal reporter Jeff Horwitz. Jeremy Strong replaces Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg. The story follows the internal documents that revealed how Facebook understood the effects of its platform while continuing to pursue growth. The film opens on October 9th. The likely defining scene is a tense confrontation in which company data is placed beside public statements, forcing executives to explain what they knew and when they knew it. This is important material, but importance does not automatically produce box office success. David Fincher is not directing, and the central characters are played by different actors. Sorkin is therefore asking audiences to accept a spiritual continuation without the complete creative team that made the first film iconic. The movie may become an awards contender and attract strong reviews. Its commercial risk is that many potential viewers already feel exhausted by social media arguments. They may agree the subject matters while deciding they do not want to spend an evening watching it. The Social Reckoning is not dead because of quality. It is endangered because Hollywood expects a serious adult drama about corporate documents to behave like a recognizable franchise sequel. Number 7. The Dog Stars. Ridley Scott's The Dog Stars is based on Peter Heller's post-apocalyptic novel and reportedly carries a production budget of approximately $110 million. Jacob Elordi plays Hig, a pilot living after a pandemic has destroyed much of civilization. He shares an abandoned airport with Bangley, a heavily armed former Marine played by Josh Brolin. When Hig hears a mysterious radio transmission, he leaves their protected home and searches for other survivors. Margaret Qualley, Allison Janney, and Guy Pearce also appear. The trailer's central image is a small airplane crossing an empty American landscape, while Hig wonders whether the distant voice belongs to a real community or a trap. Artistically, this could be excellent. Scott understands large landscapes, isolation, and damaged characters. Financially, the reported budget creates a serious challenge. A $110 million film commonly requires several $100 million in worldwide revenue after marketing, theater shares, and distribution costs are considered. Post-apocalyptic dramas are also difficult to sell when they are not connected to an established franchise. The movie appears quieter than a traditional action spectacle, yet its cost demands blockbuster-level attention. It opens on August 28th, beside Cliffhanger and Coyote vs. Acme, splitting audiences among 3 very different adventure films. Jacob Elordi has enormous cultural visibility, but this project tests whether that attention translates into expensive adult science fiction ticket sales. Josh Brolin provides credibility, while Scott's name may attract older viewers. Number 6. Insidious. Out of the Further. The Insidious franchise has survived because its movies have traditionally been inexpensive. Together, the previous films earned more than $700 million worldwide, against combined production costs reported at only a fraction of that amount. The 6th chapter, Insidious. Out of the Further, introduces Gemma, a mother who discovers that she can enter the supernatural realm known as the Further. Her ability apparently allows her to bring something back with her, creating a new threat for her daughter and home. The film opens on August 21st. The likely signature scene is Gemma crossing from her childhood house into the Further, where familiar rooms become dark, endless, and strangely rearranged. Lin Shaye also returns as Elise, giving longtime followers a recognizable connection. Financially, this may be safer than most movies on the countdown. The concern is creative exhaustion. The Further was once mysterious because audiences saw only fragments of it. Every sequel has added rules, locations, and explanations. Eventually, a frightening unknown can begin feeling like a familiar theme park attraction. Number 5. Mutiny. Mutiny places Jason Statham in familiar territory. He plays Cole Reed, a former Special Forces soldier and police officer who now works in private security. After witnessing the murder of his billionaire employer, Reed is blamed for the crime and forced to escape. His search for the real culprit leads him onto a cargo ship and into an international conspiracy. The action thriller is directed by Jean-François Richet and opens through Lionsgate on August 21st. The movie's trailer centerpiece appears to be a large fight aboard the ship. Narrow corridors, industrial machinery, and shipping containers give Statham plenty of places to chase opponents and escape impossible situations. There is nothing automatically wrong with that formula. Statham has built a dependable audience by delivering direct, uncomplicated action. The Beekeeper demonstrated that the right concept can still turn him into a theatrical attraction. Mutiny's problem is that its storyline sounds almost interchangeable with many other Statham movies. A highly trained man is framed, powerful people underestimate him, and he uncovers a conspiracy while defeating everyone sent to stop him. Without a memorable villain or unusual visual hook, viewers may decide they can wait for digital availability. The August date also places Mutiny against a new Insidious movie and other late summer releases seeking adults who have already watched the season's largest blockbusters. Number 4. Coyote vs. Acme. Coyote vs. Acme has already survived one attempted disappearance. The live-action and animated comedy follows Wile E. Coyote as he finally takes legal action against the Acme Corporation. After years of faulty rockets, collapsing traps, and malfunctioning inventions, he hires an inexperienced lawyer played by Will Forte. John Cena portrays the polished attorney defending Acme, while the Roadrunner, Bugs Bunny, and other Looney Tunes characters appear throughout the case. The completed movie was shelved before Ketchup Entertainment acquired it for an August 28 theatrical release. The standout trailer moment shows Wile E. presenting the physical consequences of Acme's products as courtroom evidence. It turns decades of cartoon jokes into a surprisingly logical legal argument. Audiences demanded that this film be released, but online campaigns do not always produce ticket sales. Many people supported Coyote vs. Acme because they opposed the idea of a completed movie being erased. That does not mean every supporter will visit a theater. The film also carries years of negative industry history. Warner Bros. Once planned to use it as part of a tax strategy, creating the impression that the original owner lacked confidence in its commercial value. Its new distributor must spend additional money, explaining both the premise and the unusual journey. Number 3. Verity. The trailer's defining image is Hathaway watching from her bed while Lowen searches through the house. The entire movie depends on whether audiences believe Verity is helpless, dangerous, or carefully controlling everyone around her. The risk comes from positioning. This is not an inexpensive streaming thriller. A $40 million production requires a serious theatrical audience before marketing and distribution costs are considered. The film also arrives under the name of author Colleen Hoover, whose popularity can attract readers, but can also create strong reactions from people who dislike her work. Verity has recognizable stars and a best-selling source novel, so calling it hopeless would be unfair. However, it needs to reach beyond Hoover's readership while competing against horror films, awards dramas, and franchise releases. This could become an adult audience success, but the budget leaves less room for an average result than the studio may admit. Number 2. Jumanji. Open World. Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, and Jack Black reunite for what has been presented as the final chapter of the modern Jumanji series. The title Open World suggests that the game may no longer remain confined to a jungle program. The returning characters appear to face a larger environment, with elements of Jumanji potentially entering reality. The movie opens on December 25th, 7 years after the next level. A symbolic prop connects the film to the original 1995 adventure. Johnson's character wears one of the board game dice as part of a necklace, creating a tribute to Robin Williams, and suggesting that the older version of Jumanji may become important again. The previous 2 Johnson-led movies were enormous successes. Welcome to the Jungle earned about $962 million worldwide, while the next level reached approximately $792 million against a reported $125 million budget. Those figures would normally make another sequel an easy decision. But 7 years is a long pause for a comedy franchise based on cast chemistry. Johnson, Hart, and Black have remained highly visible, meaning their reunion may feel less special than it did in 2017. The Christmas date is brutal. Avengers and Dune open 1 week earlier, Angry Birds 3 arrives 2 days before, and several adult dramas enter the market simultaneously. Jumanji may lose premium screens before it begins. Number 1. Dune, Part 3. Denis Villeneuve's third Dune movie adapts Dune Messiah and examines the consequences of Paul Atreides' strong reviews and turned the series into a genuine theatrical event. The danger is the calendar. Dune, Part 3 is currently scheduled for the same day as Avengers Doomsday. Both films are designed for IMAX, premium large-format screens, and worldwide event audiences. Those screens cannot be divided without reducing the revenue potential of both productions. Advance IMAX interest indicates enormous demand, so Dune is unlikely to become a normal failure. Its dead-on-arrival risk exists only if Warner Bros. Refuses to move away from Marvel. Two giant event films opening